Hello YouTube, it's Fraser298 back again to give you Shokugeki no Soma chapter review 157 entitled The Salmon Dances. Alright, so in the beginning of the chapter we see Rentaro, that's his name, finish his dish called the Salmon Confit Flame, which I didn't bother to look what it meant up, but he goes, yeah, can I go first? And then we see Yukihira, Megumi, and Takumi, and Megumi's like, a salmon cooked using a delicate temperature method. I wonder how it tastes. And we saw that in the last chapter, he used a device called a salamander, not to be confused with this salamander, but he used a device called a salamander that could precisely heat up any dish to a specific temperature, and he knew what temperature that dish would be for it to have a optimum cooking temperature, which is actually fascinating. And then he goes to Momo-senpai, hey Momo, do you want to try it out? And then Momo talks in third person, which is what I love to see. She goes, why does Momo have to eat it? He goes, well, you see, I used a little gimmick, a certain sweet. Takumi is denounced by this, going, sweet? And Rentaro goes, I just figured now you might as well be interested. And Momo's like, you dare challenge me about my candy? Which is, by the way, the cutest thing I have ever seen Momo do next to take off her bear's arms and use it as gloves. She is one adorable character, which is why something completely unadorable happens in this chapter. We see the judges and they're like, okay, well, let's taste the dish. They're very eager to taste it. It looks amazing. When they cut into it, there's a glistening meat savory fragrance. There's a fragrance there. It smells very nice. And Rentaro's there and he's like, ooh, the guy who thought of the word salmon pink must have been quite a genius, right? It was like it was meant for this dish. He goes, oh, and the judge, I know he's supposed to be like unbiased, and it's very nice that this man is very unbiased. But he's like, hey, don't think just because it smells nice, it's gonna taste good, dude. I'm very picky about these things, you know. And then we see Momo take a bite, and what I can only describe to be the Shokugeki style, she has a little bit of a happy moment. I'm just gonna label these happy moments. I'm not actually gonna straight up say what they are. You know what they are, I know what they are. I'm just gonna, for the sake of YouTube, I'm just gonna say a happy moment is what they had. Of course, he starts talking about the delicacies of this dish. The interior melanus is almost distinguishable from its raw, but yet the exterior is full of flavor thanks to the salamander. It's a fine art of fire. And Momo's like, it's not bad. And then all of a sudden she goes, judging by its appearances, it seems like he used ice cream. This is a salmon ice cream made without any sugar. And everybody in the room freaks out because they're like, a salmon ice cream? Without any sugar? What? Like, this has never been heard of in the Shokugeki world. Like, how do you take a fish dish, make it into an ice cream, and not use any sugar? While Kurobakaiba proceeds to, go on. It's like, you use the cryogenic grinder for this. And Rentaro goes, yes, with the blender I made a paste of the salmon frozen and set it in the cryogenic grinder. Due to the high speed of the internal blade, it finishes as a nice smooth ice cream. So essentially what he's saying is, it has the texture of an ice cream. It's not your traditional ice cream, if that makes sense. Like, you have vanilla, you have chocolate, you have strawberry, and they're all ice cream because they're frozen cream, if you will. This is the same thing, basically. The three judges, and they're like, he didn't just stop with his cooking methods, he's demonstrated a perfect understanding of temperature on his plate. It's the same technique that Nakiri Alice used, the ideal thermal sense. They both Nakiri Alice and Rentaro have a thermal sense, which is actually quite amazing. And then all of a sudden, we see Rentaro go, that's a fine temperature of fire. And all this metaphors, basically how although the salmon swims in the cold river, when it goes upstream, it's hot. And it's like you have to attack the salmon when it's ready. And then you proceed to see Megumi, not Megumi, I'm sorry. Well, you know, Megumi's gonna happen eventually. But you proceed to see Momo getting undressed, which I'm not sure if I'm happy about that or not. Then you see Nakiri just not really being amused by it at all, and all of a sudden Takumi and Soma actually realize like that their senpai Rentaro is actually a good chef. he's actually good. And Rentaro is like, now you just realize this? What the hell? And all of a sudden, Kaiba, everybody's in the room is like, hey, I think he's gonna win. Kaiba's like, no, you're not gonna win until you taste my cooking yet. You haven't yet experienced my cooking, so just wait a bit. And of course, he brings out a Koli Biak, which I have no idea what that means. And all of a sudden, the judges get happy, so there's Nakari and Soma. And during the 19th century, by the order of the Russian Empire, the greatest chef from France was summoned to construct a dish. In the end, it was incorporated with the French cuisine, and salmon version has been called the model of the classic cuisine since. And that's why he used the rice. So in the last chapter, the chapter before, he started cooking with rice, and everybody kind of freaked out. It's like, why are you using rice and dough? You're usually just focusing on the flavor of the fish. This doesn't make any sense. And now it does, of course. The scent from this, and the scent from the split bread and salmon. Look at this juicy section. And then he's like, come on, hurry up and eat it. Kaiba is like very happy at this point. The explosiveness of the salmon flavor. Your tongues won't be able to defy the overwhelming flavor. And they eat it, and you know what happens. It has a nice kick to it, the pungent flavor, the sheer feeling of volume is shaking my head to its core. Everybody in the room is mouth-watering. I was mouth-watering. It looks very delicious at that point. And then Nakari is like, hey, Megumi, do you want to try some? And Megumi eats it. She's like, oh, and she proceeds to get undressed. There are 2 undressings in this chapter. Yes, mangaka, yes. And of course, after Megumi gets undressed, figuratively speaking, so tasty. That was funny. And then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, well, what dish is gonna win? And one of the judges goes, I can't decide. They're both very good. And everybody in the room is freaking out. And Soma's kind of sitting there thinking, well, even though Kaiba brought out such an amazing dish, his current one, his opponent wasn't one he could easily win against. Soma is the fairest of them all. He knows when he sees somebody what their strength is and if they actually have it or not. He realizes that Rentaro has strength, and he's like, yeah, Kaiba, he's great and all, but like, Rentaro is also a very good chef, so it's kind of difficult to weigh them out at this point. Rentaro and Kaiba just there, and then one of our beloved judges from before is like, no, I know exactly whose dish is better. And you kind of see both the judges kind of like in the shadows. So one of the judges, out of the 3 basically is like, I'm 50-50. The 2 judges distinctively know whose dish is better. At this point, I don't know. They're both good, but I want to say Kaiba's dish is better because not only did he focus on his salmon flavor, but he focused on other flavors as well with his rice and his bread. So I think he just went a little bit of an extra mile to go for that, and I think that's why his dish is actually far superior than Kaiba's. That's just my opinion. We'll see in the next chapter of Shokugeki no Soma. Sorry, this video came out late. I had other things to do. If you want to go check out other videos of mine, subscribe down below. Leave a comment on who you think is going to win this Shokugeki, and give me a thumbs up and stuff like that if you like seeing these videos, and I shall see you guys in the next chapter. Bye, guys!